It's Friday, January the 3rd, and of course, as it's Friday, that does mean there are a load of new movies that come out today. And this is why I enlist the help of movie critic Van Connor to come on the show every Friday just to talk to us about a couple of the new movies that come out, because he gets to see them before we do, and just let us know which ones are worth going to see or avoid. Welcome back to the show, Van Connor. Did you have a good Christmas and New Year?
I had a lovely Christmas and New Year, Mr. Ball. Happy New Year to you as well. Do you know what? The year's off to a great start as well. I've got good movies to talk to you about.
I know, it's great that you're so enthusiastic about both the movies that we're talking about today, because obviously sometimes you can get some sort of rubbish movies that come out.
And we've had some stinkers, haven't
we? We have had some stinkers in 2024, we have. So, you want to start with We Live in Time. I don't know much about either of today's, actually, so I'm going to hand over to you.
Well, obviously there is an Oxford connection to our first film, of course, We Live in Time, because it stars none other than Queen Flo herself, Florence Pugh.
Of course.
My future ex-wife and one of the most talented young actresses working today. She stars opposite Andrew Garfield in a new movie from John Crowley, who previously brought us Brooklyn with Saoirse Ronan from about 5 or 6 years ago, if you remember that. Also Boy A, I think was one of his as well. This is completely original. It feels like it's based on a novel, but it's actually not. So read into that what you will, pun intended. Florence Pugh is a chef, and Andrew Garfield works for Weetabix. And one day she accidentally hits him with her car, and it's a meet cute, and we experience a decade in the life of this couple as they go through their trials and tribulations of just a decade together. But it's told out of sequence and non-linear, so it bounces all around the place, and it sort of leaves you to fill in the gaps. And you know I'm a sucker for that, because I was a big fan of Strange Darling last year. So it's Andrew Garfield, it's Queen Flo, it's got the meet cute, it's got the tears, it's got the heartbreak, it's got the love, it's got the emotion, it's got the charm. I've got a clip for you, and this is We Live in Time.
Morning. Adrian Duval. We worked together back in the day.
I didn't realize you were,
Quite so competitive.
I probably ought to get going.
Why? Who says?
I don't know. You're right. I don't know why I said that.
Let me just clarify, this isn't a Christmas movie, is it?
No. I mean, there's a shot of Christmas here and there. This actually opened on New Year's Day, it's worth noting. So this opened on Wednesday. It was this and Nosferatu both dropped on Wednesday, just to give the punters something to go and see on the new year. It's very warm and it's very seasonal, but it is not like a Christmas film or anything like that. Because of the passage of time and that element playing into it, you do get to see them at different times of the year over those 10 years. In kind of the same way you got like When Harry Met Sally, you kind of experience the year kind of thing with them. It's worth noting as well, and I know you'll get a kick out of this because you'll understand the trivia here, but Florence Pugh seems unnaturally capable of working as a restaurant chef. I wonder why that might be.
Brilliant. That's great.
They're both very good in it. It's worth noting that Andrew Garfield doesn't quite have the charisma that she does. So it's kind of an inverse Twisters. You remember Twisters, where you had Daisy Edgar-Jones just did not have the charm of Glenn Powell, and so the pairing just felt a bit imbalanced.
Yeah.
You have the opposite here. You have the same kind of imbalance, but it's inverted gender-wise here. So that Queen Flo is just, because it's much better, it's a much more developed character as well. A lot more depth is put into Florence Pugh's than Andrew Garfield. And if anything, he's kind of a soy boy beta cuck type, if you were to describe him in this. And as such, he is kind of perfect for that role. Like I say, if it has a fault, it is that. And the fact that the ending is a little bit predictable if you've seen any movie like this ever. But it is very good, it's very charming, it's very cute. It has a weird amount of nudity in it. For a very cute, twee, romantic drama, there's a strange amount of like sex and nudity in it.
Don't watch it with your gran then.
Don't watch this with Gran. Exactly. I mean, mine would have watched it, but she was a bit twisted.
So, We Live in Time. That's out in cinemas from... Well, it's already out in cinemas, right?
Wednesday.
You can go and see it whenever you want to.
Came out on Wednesday in cinemas.
Amazing. Okay, so we're moving on to a horror next, I believe, isn't it? It's Nosferatu. Is that pronounced right?
Yeah, that is exactly right. The things you fail to pronounce over the years, and Nosferatu getting one.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know.
I remember Megalopolis stomping you.
Oh, don't even start me on Megalopolis.
You got it then, though.
I did.
Right, so Nosferatu, not just a horror film, the horror film. Nosferatu is one of the originals. So most people know Nosferatu as the 1922 black and white silent film. Best described as B&M Dracula, because that's kind of what it was. It was kind of a knockoff Dracula, just by a different name. Instead of Dracula, you had Count Orlok. Instead of Harker, they changed the names ever so slightly. So for the purposes of describing this, I'll use the Dracula names. So Nicholas Hoult is your Jonathan Harker type, the businessman who has to go to the castle, owned and occupied by the mysterious Count in Transylvania, who wants to buy property in Harker's homeland. His name isn't Harker in this version, but I forget what it is. All the while, said Count, who, spoiler alert, is a vampire, hence Count, is engaging in this sort of campaign of psychic terrorization over our lead's wife, played here by Lily Rose Depp. Why am I stumping on Lily Rose Depp? Lily Rose Depp. You have Bill Skarsgård as the Count. You have Willem Dafoe in what's effectively the Van Helsing role, because it's a Robert Eggers movie, so you got to have Willem Dafoe. He's in all of these now.
Yeah.
And it's gothic, it's creepy, it's cool. I got a clip for you. This is Willem Dafoe laying out the threat.
I have seen things in this world that would have made Isaac Newton crawl back into his mother's womb. We have not become so much enlightened as we have been blinded by the gaseous light of science. I have wrestled with the devil as Jacob wrestled the angel in Penuel, and I tell you, if we are to tame darkness, we must first face that it exists. Meine Herren, we are here encountering the undead plague carrier, the vampire, Nosferatu.
Does sound really, really good. And are there any proper jump scares in that as well?
Yes, there really are. It's not like the weird thing is it's not like a trashy, jumpy horror movie. It's like a proper, classy, gothic horror movie. But oh my god, when it goes for the jumps, it really goes. I saw this with Faith, my partner, and she was grabbing the ceiling at one point. She shot out of a chair so hard she could grab the ceiling. It was terrific. Performances are all great. Lily Rose Depp, I was quite impressed by, because I generally think of her as quite a naff actress and kind of a textbook nepo baby, because she's Johnny Depp's kid, so we know she's not really there for talent reasons. But she is quite good in this. She's excellent. There's a lot of physicality to her performance, because she effectively has to play bewitched, but also physically suffering because of it. And the things she can contort her body into doing are insane. You've then got one of the creepiest vampire performances I think I've ever seen in Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok, and another great turn for Nicholas Hoult, but he very rarely disappoints. The real star, though, here is Robert Eggers, who is just, he's leaving nothing on the table. The guy has come to play. I know this has been a passion project of his for a long time. He's taught, every time he's had a film out in the last 10 years, he has talked about, I want to do Nosferatu, I want to do Nosferatu next, and he's been trying to get this made. Apparently it was written before the pandemic, and that is interesting to me, because there is a notable new element in this version of the story, because I saw the original at Halloween. With the live orchestra, with a live score from Hugo Max, the Prince Charles, and it was terrific. So I had it fresh in my memory. And there is a new bit that's been added to this, where it's sort of an expansion, where they expand the idea of the Count bringing plague rats with him when he shows up. He comes on the boat,
COVID rats,
and literally armies of plague rats just pour out of the boat, and it's a much more of an element in this than it was in the original version. And you think that's interesting. It feels like something you would have decided to do during the pandemic, but no, apparently completely by coincidence it was written before. There's a lot of mask wearing and stuff like that. Wow. You're like, wow, incredible, good fortune there. But honest to God, this will be one of the top films of this year. We have started off strong. This is going to be, every horror nuts is going to go gangbusters for this. Every cinephile is going to love it because it's a Robert Eggers movie. Willem Dafoe's in it, so it's automatically got a certain level of, Thespy fanboy thing going for it. It is just a certified banger. I think it's absolutely terrific.
So the only way is down then, really, Van?
Yes, exactly that. I mean, don't say that, because I'm reviewing Baby Girl next week, and I've been really looking forward to that.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful. I'm sure we'll hear about it as well. But if you do want to see We Live in Time, it's being shown at the Light in Banbury, Odeon Lux Aylesbury, the Living Room Cinema Chipping Norton, Cineworld Didcot, Views Cinema in Bicester, and Curzon in Oxford. And if you want to check out Nosferatu, Curzon, Oxford, Omniplex Cinema in High Wycombe, the Light in Banbury, View Cinema Bicester, Cineworld Whitney, and Cineworld Didcot as well. So plenty of chances for you to go and check out one of those two movies this weekend, and it sounds like both of them are equally worth going to see. So for now, thank you very much, Van Connor. We will be back with you on Friday next week. Anything big coming out to look forward to?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't care what else is out as long as I get to see Baby Girl, because I've been wanting to see that all last year. And it's finally here. The annoying thing is it opened in the States like 2 weeks ago, opened over Christmas in the States. So there's a billion spoilers on the internet. I have to avoid the internet.
Oh, no. Well, we'll hear what you thought about that on Friday next week then, alongside other ones. But have a lovely week, Van, and we'll catch up then.
Till the next time, good stuff.